Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Lalema Aneja Dang and with me is Nishit Kumar with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to interact virtually with Chief Ministers tomorrow on COVID-related situation in the country. DCGI grants emergency use authorization to Covaxin, Corbevax and Zycov-D COVID vaccines for children of different age groups. Prime Minister addresses program virtually to mark 90th anniversary of Shivagiri pilgrimage and Golden Jubilee of Brahma Vidyalaya in Kerala. Hails contribution of great social reformer Sri Narayan Guru in fight against caste discrimination. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath directs all state ministers and public servants to declare their movable and immovable assets online to bring transparency in governance. Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar virtually interacts with farmers in Krishi Vigyan Kendras across the country, launches Kisan Bhagidari Prathamikta Hamari campaign under Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. INB Minister Anurag Thakur unveils short video series Azadi Ki Amrit Kahaniyan to showcase inspiring stories in collaboration with Netflix. Vice President to unveil 100-meter tall tower at Akashvani FM station in Nellore district of Andhra Pradesh tomorrow. Khelo India Youth Games to be held from 4th to 13th of June, and in IPL cricket, match between Royal Challengers Bangalore and Rajasthan Royals underway in Pune. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will interact with the Chief Ministers tomorrow on the COVID-related situation in the country. The review meeting will be held at 12 noon through video conferencing. The meeting has been called in the wake of rising cases of COVID-19 in the country, as some of the states and union territories are witnessing surge in daily cases. Country's active caseload currently stands at 15,636 and a total of 2,483 new cases were reported in the country yesterday. India's recovery rate stands at 98.75%. India's COVID vaccination coverage has exceeded 187 crore 95 lakh today. This has been achieved through over 2 crore 30 lakh sessions.
Drugs Controller General of India, DCGI, has granted emergency use authorization to Covaxin, Corbevax and Zycov-D COVID vaccines for children of different age groups. The DCGI gave restricted emergency use authorization to Bharat Biotech's Covaxin for children. The approval has been given for the children between age of 6 to 12 years. It has also granted emergency use authorization to Corbevax for those aged between 5 to 12 years. In a tweet, Union Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia said the DCGI has also granted emergency use authorization to Zycov-D for children above the age of 12 years for a 2-dose regime. Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan has said that the paradigm of health has shifted from health to wellness to well-being in the last 8 years. Mr. Bhushan said this while chairing a panel discussion on the theme India Pharma Vision 2047 during the second day of the 7th International Conference on Pharma and Medical Device Sector in New Delhi. He stressed on the need to ensure focused research on equity and access to drugs and diagnostics in the years to come. Highlighting the importance of the 4 pillars of Ayushman Bharat program, the Health Secretary said that the government is planning to operationalize around 150,000 Ayushman Bharat health and wellness centers in the country by the end of this year, out of which 117,000 such centers have already been operationalized. Speaking on the occasion, Secretary, Department of Pharmaceuticals S. Aparna highlighted that India has the triple advantage of cost, quality and scale in the pharma sector, and this needs to be ramped up.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed the contribution of great social reformer Sri Narayan Guru from Kerala in the fight against caste discrimination in the country. The Prime Minister was speaking virtually in the inaugural ceremony of year-long joint celebrations of the 90th anniversary of the Shivagiri pilgrimage and Golden Jubilee of Brahma Vidyalaya in Kerala today. Both Shivagiri pilgrimage and Brahma Vidyalaya were started with the blessing and guidance of Sri Narayan Guru. Mr. Modi said the great social reformer campaigned against stereotypes and evils and made India aware of its reality. He fought a logical and practical fight against the discrimination going on in the name of casteism. The Prime Minister said, today, taking inspiration from Narayan Guruji, the country is serving the poor, downtrodden and backward and giving them their rights.
आज नारायण गुरु जी की उसी प्रेरणा को लेकर देश गरीबों, दलितों, पिछड़ों की सेवा कर रहा है। उन्हें उनके हक का जो मिलना चाहिए, उनको जो अधिकार मिलना चाहिए, उसको उन अधिकारों को देना ये हमारी प्राथमिकता रहा है। और इसीलिए आज देश सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास और सबका प्रयास के मंत्र के साथ आगे बढ़ रहा है।
Calling Sri Narayan Guru a radical thinker and a practical reformer, the Prime Minister said Guruji always followed the decorum of discussion and always tried to understand the viewpoint of the other and tried to convey his viewpoint collaboratively by working with the other person. He used to create an environment in the society that the society itself used to get in the direction of self-improvement with the right rationale. The Prime Minister gave the example of social adoption of the campaign Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao in recent times, where the situation improved with speed as the government was able to create the right environment.
हमारी सरकार ने बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ अभियान शुरू किया। कानून तो पहले भी थे, लेकिन बेटियों की संख्या में सुधार हाल ही के कुछ वर्षों में हो पाया है। ऐसा इसलिए हुआ क्योंकि हमारी सरकार ने समाज को सही बात के लिए प्रेरित किया। लोगों को भी जब लगा कि सरकार सही कर रही है, तो स्थितियों में तेजी से सुधार भी आने लग जाता है। और सच्चे अर्थ में समाज में सुधार का यही तरीका है।
The Prime Minister also launched the logo for year-long joint celebrations. Union Ministers V. Muralidharan and Rajiv Chandrasekhar, Sri Narayan Dharma Sangham Trust President Swami Satchidanand and General Secretary Swami Ritambaranand were among those present.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar today said India has a very clear position on the conflict in Ukraine, which emphasizes on urgent cessation of fighting and return to diplomacy and dialogue. Speaking at the Rayasena Dialogue Town Hall, Dr. Jaishankar said, Ukraine conflict is an issue of concern for everyone. Replying to a query from the audience, the minister said Asia faces its own set of challenges which often impact the rules-based order. He pointed out that the entire civil society in Afghanistan was thrown under the bus by the world less than a year ago.
All of us would like to find the right balance of beliefs, of our interests, of our experience, and that's really what we're all trying to do. And it looks different from different parts of the world. The priorities are different. That's quite natural. But as I said, at the moment, these shocks are really for all of us to be concerned about, because each of these events, Afghanistan, COVID, big power rivalry, have global consequences.
Earlier in the day, addressing the Rayasena Dialogue on India at 75, New Approaches for Foreign Policy, Minister of State for External Affairs V. Muralidharan said India's vision will continue to be shaped by its developmental priorities at home as it moves towards assuming greater regional and global responsibilities. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has asked all his ministers and public servants to publicly declare their movable and immovable assets. The Chief Minister today announced a slew of measures towards bringing transparency and accountability in the governance in the state. After holding a high-level meeting, the Chief Minister said the conduct of public representatives is very important for a healthy democracy. Mr. Yogi Adityanath said, following this spirit, all ministers should publicly declare all movable and immovable property owned by them and their family members within a period of next 3 months after taking oath of office and secrecy. All bureaucrats have also been asked to make declaration about all the movable and immovable property owned by them and their family members. The details should be made available on the online portal for the perusal of the general public.
Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has said that IGNOU should become the knowledge center of the world. Addressing the 35th convocation of IGNOU, the minister said, if we want to establish India as a knowledge-based economic superpower, the country must ensure a paradigm shift in the education landscape. He said that National Education Policy 2020 is a step towards transforming our education and skills landscape. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today interacted with the Tiranga Mountain Rescue Team in New Delhi. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Singh said, government and civil society are the wheels on which the country can achieve the goal of all-round sustainable development. During the interaction with the team, Mr. Singh commended them for saving the lives of the armed forces personnel from threats like avalanches, besides raising awareness and imparting training to them.
टीम के ऊपर हम सभी को नाज है, हम सबको गौरव की अनुभूति होती है और बहुत ही उल्लेखनीय कार्य इन्होंने किया है। अब एवलांच जैसे गंभीर खतरों से अपने डिफेंस पर्सनल को बचाना, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है। जो देश की सुरक्षा में लगे हुए हैं, उनकी सुरक्षा की जिम्मेदारी इन लोगों ने अपने कंधों पर संभाली है। इसके लिए मैं पुनः इन सबको अपनी तरफ से बधाई देता हूं।
The Indian Air Force has carried out extensive resurfacing work on the runway of Bagdogra airfield in West Bengal, enabling civil aircraft to resume operations from this morning. The first civil aircraft landed at Bagdogra airfield at around 8 a.m. The runway was closed for 2 weeks for laying 3 flexible layers and reconstruction of non-load bearing surfaces. The work was executed with Border Roads Organization BRO as the implementing agency and was completed expeditiously to facilitate civil aircraft operations with least inconvenience to the airlines and passengers.
In Jammu and Kashmir, people across the Union Territory are quite happy with the good governance of the country under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. While sharing their experiences, the beneficiaries, Manzoor Ahmed and Javed Ahmed, who hail from the South Kashmir's Anantnag district, were quite appreciative of the Prime Minister for providing them benefits under various schemes.
सर जी, मैं जावेद अहमद बोल रहा हूँ बिजबिहाड़ा से। बाय प्रोफेशन मैं कॉन्ट्रैक्टर हूँ। गवर्नमेंट अच्छे काम कर रही है, सड़कें बना रही है, लगभग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बना रही है, ITI बना रहे हैं, कॉलेजेस बना रहे हैं, तो अच्छे काम कर रहे हैं, इसमें कोई शक नहीं है। मंजूर बहुत अच्छा काम मोदी जी कर रहे थे, और कौन कर रहे थे? हर जगह काम चल रहे थे। आधार कार्ड, किसान फंड वो भी मिलता है, लोगों का राशन भी मिलता है, चीनी भी मिलता है, आटा भी मिलता है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं उसका। काम भी चल रहा था, रोड बिल्डिंग चल रहा था, गवर्नमेंट ने रोड बनाया, बिल्डिंग बनाया, छोटा रास्ता भी बनाया, बहुत काम चल रहा था।
Jammu and Kashmir is witnessing a steep pace of development. Recently, it has become the first ever state or union territory to devise a comprehensive district good governance index. News Services Division of All India Radio will bring you an AIR News special series on Jammu and Kashmir, a story of transformation. In the first episode of this special series, we bring you Jammu or Kashmir, Ek Nayi Subha. To listen to the program, stay tuned to FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:15 p.m. onwards.
In Jammu and Kashmir, the historic Mughal Road connecting Shopian district in Kashmir division with Poonch and Rajouri districts in Jammu region has been opened today for vehicular traffic after remaining closed for about 4 months due to heavy snowfall. The traffic police has urged the motorists to follow the traffic advisory strictly. You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to interact virtually with Chief Ministers tomorrow on COVID-related situation in the country. DCGI grants emergency use authorization to Covaxin, Corbavax and Zycov-D COVID vaccines for children of different age groups. Prime Minister addresses program virtually to mark the 90th anniversary of Sivagiri pilgrimage and Golden Jubilee of Brahma Vidyalaya in Kerala. Hails contribution of great social reformer Sri Narayana Guru in fight against caste discrimination. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath directs all state ministers and public servants to declare their movable and immovable assets online to bring transparency in governance. Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar virtually interacts with farmers in Krishi Vigyan Kendras across the country, launches Kisan Bhagidari Prathamikta Hamari campaign under Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. INB Minister Anurag Thakur unveils short video series Azadi Ki Amrit Kahaniyan to showcase inspiring stories in collaboration with Netflix. Vice President to unveil 100-meter tall tower at Akashwani FM station in Nellore district of Andhra Pradesh tomorrow. Khelo India Youth Games to be held from 4th to 13th of June. And in IPL cricket, match between Royal Challengers Bangalore and Rajasthan Royals underway in Pune. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
कंपटीशन की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी, तो उनके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर हम लाए हैं अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करेंगे abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर और हमारे विशेषज्ञ देंगे इसका जवाब। इस बार का विषय है सोशियोलॉजी। सवाल भेजने की अंतिम तारीख है 27 अप्रैल। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu will inaugurate the newly built 100-meter tall tower at Akashvani FM station in Nellore tomorrow. Ahead of the Vice President's visit, District Collector KVN Hakradhar Babu, along with SP Vijaya Rao, inspected all wings of the radio station, besides Venkatachalam Railway Station, Swarna Bharat Trust and Devi Reddy Sharda Trust in Aluru Mandal. According to the official schedule, Mr. Naidu will dedicate to the nation 100-meter tower tomorrow. After the inauguration, the Vice President will interact with prominent personalities during a high tea at the radio station. Indian parliamentary delegation led by Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla today held a bilateral meeting with Emirates Senior Minister of Singapore, Goh Chok Tong. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Birla said the relations between India and Singapore are getting strengthened consistently on the foundation of strong people-to-people contact and mutual interest.
A day-long Kisan Mela was held at all Krishi Vigyan Kendras across the country as a part of Kisan Bhagidari Prathmikta Hamari campaign. Launching the campaign today, Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar interacted virtually with farmers who were present in Krishi Vigyan Kendras in towns and cities across the country. The farmers shared their experience of increment in income. Union Minister of State for Agriculture Kailash Chaudhary was also present on this occasion. Speaking at the event, the Agriculture Minister outlined Prime Minister's vision for the agriculture sector, which is the backbone of the country.
भारत सरकार और राज्य सरकारें इस देश को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए, इस देश की खेती को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए, इस देश के मानव उत्थान के लिए, इस देश की शिक्षा को उन्नत शिक्षा में तब्दील करने के लिए, इस देश की हेल्थ की सुविधाएं आम आदमी तक पहुंचे, इस उद्देश्य की पूर्ति के लिए, देश में कुपोषण की समाप्ति हो, गरीबी का उन्मूलन हो और आम आदमी आत्मनिर्भर भारत और न्यू इंडिया की तैयारी में अपना योगदान करने लायक सक्षम हो सके। इस दृष्टि से सारे भारत सरकार के जो मंत्रालय हैं वो अपने अपने कार्यक्रमों के अनुसार देश को आगे बढ़ाने के प्रयत्न में भागीदार बने। और अगर हम साल भर के इन कार्यक्रमों के माध्यम से कुछ जागरूकता और कुछ प्रेरणा कार्यक्रमों के माध्यम से दे सकते हैं तो निश्चित रूप से यह देश के विकास और देश की यात्रा में भारत सरकार का एक महत्वपूर्ण योगदान होगा।
The Kisan Bhagidari Prathmikta Hamari campaign is being organized in the country till the 30th of April under Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur today launched Azadi Ki Amrit Kahaniyan, a short video collection in collaboration with OTT platform Netflix. It is a series of inspiring short stories about 7 Indian women who did something unthinkable, extraordinary and out of the box for India. Speaking on the occasion in New Delhi, Mr. Thakur said Netflix will be producing 25 videos on themes including women, empowerment, environment and sustainable development and other issues of significance.
Through this partnership, Netflix will be producing 2-minute short films made for the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, which shall be shared on through social media platforms and broadcast on Doordarshan Network. The first set of videos is of women narrating their experiences in breaking the glass ceiling. They are demonstrated as forces of nature as they speak about what Azadi means to them. However, they have one thing in common. They have fought against all odds to achieve their goals. These videos are made in a manner to inspire more and more Indians to fulfill their dreams.
The minister felicitated the inspiring Indian women who got featured in Netflix India's Azadi Ki Amrit Kahaniyan series. Speaking on the occasion, head of Global TV, Netflix, Bela Bajaria said the OTT platform is proud to partner with Ministry of Information and Broadcasting to celebrate and acknowledge the evolution of India over the past 75 years by celebrating its beautiful art, culture and storytelling.
And now, let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
In today's episode, we remember transnational freedom fighter Champakaraman Pillai, who died on the 26th of May 1934. Pillai was the forerunner of Ras Bihari Bose and Subhash Chandra Bose in organizing an Indian army abroad to strike against the imperialist British force at home. Pillai is credited with coining of the salutation and slogan Jai Hind.
Kadam kadam badhaye ja, khushi ke geet gaye ja, ye zindagi hai qaum ki to qaum pe lutaye ja, kadam kadam badhaye ja.
Champakaraman Pillai was born on the 15th of September 1891 at Cochin in Kerala. Even during his student days, he was quite attracted to books and periodicals preaching nationalism and heard the speeches of all political leaders who were in the forefront of the freedom movement. The personality of Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak and his writings in his journal Kesari turned Champakaraman into a patriot and revolutionary. When Tilak was arrested and sentenced to transportation, Champakaraman was deeply moved and took a pledge to dedicate his life at the altar of the motherland, fighting for her freedom. Champakaraman came into contact with an Englishman who was working as a spy for the Germans, and with the latter's help, he left the shores of India when he was just a lad of 17 years.
Champakaraman first went to Colombo and from there to Switzerland. At Zurich, he completed his education and took a doctorate in engineering. When the First World War broke out, Pillai, with the help of the German embassy, formed the International Pro-India Committee in 1914, with Zurich as its headquarters and himself as the president. Pillai moved to Berlin in October 1914 and started the Indian Independence Committee. Many prominent Indian revolutionaries abroad, including Lala Hardayal, Taraknath Das, Barakatullah, Dr. Chandrakant Chakravarti, Dr. Bhupendranath Dutt, Dr. Prabhakar, Virendra Chattopadhyay, Virendra Sarkar and Hirambalal Gupta joined him to work out the program.
Champakaraman Pillai won the confidence of the Germans and led the operations of German Navy in the Indian Ocean. He directed the German submarine Emden, striking deep into the British naval installations and destroying English war vessels. The British government announced a reward of £1 lakh to anyone who would capture Champakaraman Pillai and hand him over. But the brave son of India always eluded them.
Pillai founded the Indian National Volunteer Corps during the First World War and prescribed military uniform and discipline to the volunteers. In July 1914, Pillai gave a message from Berlin to the Indian soldiers that it was time for them to rise in revolt and fight the British for the emancipation of the motherland. Later, in 1919, when Champakaraman Pillai met Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose in Vienna, he explained his plan of action to Netaji Subhash. It is believed that Subhash Chandra Bose chose the path shown by Champakaraman Pillai and fulfilled his dream by organizing the Indian National Army during the Second World War.
Champakaraman Pillai had the privilege of being the Prime Minister of the Provisional Government of India set up in Afghanistan in December 1915 with Raja Mahendra Pratap Singh of Kabul as President. However, the defeat of the Germans in the war shattered their hopes. After the First World War ended, the relationship between the Germans and self-respecting Indian revolutionaries was strained. Champakaraman raised his voice against the views of Hitler that Indians were still incapable of ruling themselves.
But he fell a victim to the wrath of the Nazis, as it is believed that he was slowly poisoned by them. Pillai died on May the 26th, 1934. His wife, Lakshmi Bai, underwent indescribable sufferings as the Nazis made her life miserable. But she preserved Pillai's ashes, his diary and secret documents. As per Pillai's last wish, Lakshmi Bai brought back his ashes to India, where they were ceremonially immersed in Kanyakumari with full state honours. All India Radio salutes the great freedom fighter.
We also remember independence activist Muhammad Yusuf Naqshbandi, who was martyred on the 26th of May 1946. Born in 1923 in Srinagar, Jammu and Kashmir, Naqshbandi was a committed political worker. He actively joined the political movement for responsible government in Jammu and Kashmir in 1946. Naqshbandi was killed at the Khankai-Maula in Srinagar on the 26th of May 1946 in the state army's firing on a procession he joined to protest against the Maharaja's tyrannical rule. We salute the great son of the soil.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
FSSAI has launched Food Safety Connect app for food business operators and consumers. Download this app from Google Play Store and easily apply for FSSAI registration. Consumers can use this app to register food-related complaints. Agricultural and Processed Food Products Export Development Authority, EPIDA, in association with the India Trade Promotion Organization, ITPO, is organizing Asia's biggest international food and hospitality fair, AHAR 2022, at Pragati Maidan in New Delhi. The fair commenced today. Well, Khelo India Youth Games 2021 will be held from 4th to 13th June this year. The games will be held in Shahabad, Ambala, Chandigarh and Delhi, apart from Panchkula. Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Anurag Thakur virtually interacted with Haryana Chief Minister Manohar Lal during the Organising and Coordinating Committee meeting to review the preparedness of the Games. Haryana Chief Minister said that a mascot and logo of Khelo India Youth Games would be launched on the 8th of next month in Panchkula. The Youth Affairs and Sports Ministry informed that under 18 age category, around 8,500 players will participate in the Games from a total of 25 sports, including 5 indigenous games of India.
On day 3 of Khelo India University Games, KIUG, Jain University of Bengaluru continue to maintain the top position in the medals tally. The dominance in the swimming competition helped them keep the top spot in the rally. They won 4 of the 10 gold medals in swimming event. The second spot in the medal tally went to the University of Mumbai and the third spot to Savitribai Phule University of Pune. 57 universities figured in the medal tally today, with 24 of them winning at least 1 gold medal. In IPL cricket, Rajasthan Royals were 108 for 6 in 16.4 overs against Royal Challengers Bangalore at Maharashtra Cricket Association Stadium in Pune when reports last came in. Earlier, Royal Challengers Bangalore skipper won the toss and elected to field first.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital, Delhi, will have mainly clear sky. Kolkata and Mumbai will have mainly clear sky too. Chennai is likely to have partly cloudy sky. Jammu, Srinagar, Leh, Gilgit and Muzaffarabad will have mainly clear sky. Guwahati, Imphal, Shillong, Aizawl, Kohima, Itanagar and Gangtok will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to interact virtually with chief ministers tomorrow on COVID-related situation in the country. DCGI grants emergency use authorization to Covaxin, Corbevax and Zycov-D COVID vaccines for children of different age groups. Prime Minister addresses program virtually to mark 90th anniversary of Shivagiri pilgrimage and Golden Jubilee of Brahma Vidyalaya in Kerala. Hails contribution of great social reformer Sri Narayan Guru in fight against caste discrimination. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath directs all state ministers and public servants to declare their movable and immovable assets online to bring transparency in governance. Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar virtually interacts with farmers in Krishi Vigyan Kendras across the country. INB Minister Anurag Thakur unveils short video series Azadi Ki Amrit Kahaniyan to showcase inspiring stories in collaboration with Netflix. And an IPL cricket match between Royal Challengers Bangalore and Rajasthan Royals underway in Pune. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.